Liam, it's been the last 2 weeks. I think you missed the last kind of portal madness and recruiting. So what's the last 2 weeks juggling that with? Also, you got a game coming up.
It's been a juggle for sure. Never quite been through anything like this. Obviously, the landscape of college football has changed drastically in the last few years. But it's been a learning experience. But a lot of guys have had opportunities to be able to get on campus, see this place, people that are going to come and hopefully make an impact on our program. And then also we've done a nice job, I think, of keeping guys that did maybe want to test the waters a little bit and look at other avenues, and we ended up getting them back, which was a big thing for us. So now it's on to Clemson.
What are those conversations like when a guy does enter the portal and then, a week or so later removes their name? Are you all already preparing for life after them? How does that kind of go about?
No, I mean, it all depends on the situation. It's a case-by-case situation. And so if a player just wants to go and look at other opportunities, that's his decision to do that. But we're never really trying to kick somebody out. So when you have an opportunity to get really good players back that you've invested time into, that you want to continue to invest time into, that are good students, that do things right on and off the field, those guys are always welcome back. So those have been pleasant conversations, have been really positive conversations that we've been able to get some of those guys back, and there's no hard feelings. This is just the landscape of where we're at right now.
Coach, keeping things on the portal, obviously Clemson, top 10 defense, but some guys, starters hit the portal, some starters have hit the draft. So how much harder is it to kind of scout these guys and kind of prepare with maybe half or so of their team first team?
Well, they're very much built like an SEC program. They've got a ton of depth up front specifically. They've got true freshmen that have played really well and played at a high level all year. Obviously, having Trotter out is big. He's a heck of a football player. Number 33, the defensive tackle, a heck of a football player. Number 2, the corner, heck of a football player. So, and then number 1, the safety that went in the portal. I mean, those guys are all really good football players, but they're deep. They have a really deep front seven that is going to be a challenge for us, right? It's going to be a great challenge. And then on the perimeter, they do play a ton of man coverage. They get a 5-man rush with their talented front, and they play a lot of man coverage. So it's going to be a huge challenge for us on the perimeter to win, to get open, to make contested catches, throw the ball into small windows, and it's a great challenge for us being able to go and play Clemson, because they aren't built at all like the majority of teams in that conference, being honest.
And with some guys leaving, your depth's a little different. Are there young guys that you've seen in practice that you're eager to see in a game situation?
Yeah, I think Kamara getting back, kind of building off the success he had towards the end of that stretch there, and being able to play, and obviously with Zay being gone, will hopefully continue to add to his role. You're excited to see, Shamar Porter maybe get some reps, maybe Jamarian Wilcox get some reps, but we're also trying to go play a very high level opponent, and we need this win to go into the offseason on the right note. And so it's been great to see them practice and get more reps. Whether or not how much that translates to the game, I can't say right now, but we are excited about their development, about the work that they've put in this offseason.
Marques just mentioned Malachi Wood as a guy who impressed him. I know you talked about him on a radio show late this year. What did you see from him?
He's just continues to get better. He really does. He's dedicated himself to changing his body, to dedicating himself to his craft. He works at it, post-practice. He's doing the right things to try to help himself continue to get better. He's a great kid. He's no issues. He's just the type of kid that you want to have in your program, that you look forward to really working with him this spring, right? When the bullets are flying a little bit more alive for him, and putting him in a position to truly see his competition against better opponents and better skill set. So been really pleased with Malachi as well.
Have you seen many offensive linemen as long as him?
Yeah. He's a different one, man. I mean, he's built in a lot of ways what you're looking for, obviously, at the highest level of football, and continuing to gain his lower body strength, core strength. When you're that long, it's hard to sometimes get in and out of your stance fast. but he's just gotten better and better. And obviously the length is something we can't truly coach that he has in his body, and makes it exciting to be able to work with him moving forward.
You and Mark both talked about making changes this offseason, particularly when it comes to playing faster. Is there enough time to implement some of those ahead of the ball game, or are you kind of stuck with what you've done so far?
We're more so trying to execute right now. There hasn't been a ton of time, honestly, to truly go into yourself. Like this has been the most chaotic time I've ever been a part of in terms of going into a bowl prep. I'll be honest. I mean, just the amount of portal, this, that. I mean, this is probably not the time to truly do a wholesale change, or, we can tweak some things, but, we knew we would lose snaps 2 years ago. I don't really recall a ton of people talking about pace of play 2 years ago. It's just more so we got to play faster at the quarterback position, continue to get the play in and out of the huddle, and play faster, and it's all the same play calls that we always had. So we knew we would lose plays when it came to the rule change, but we obviously don't want to be playing in the 50s.
Ray Davis and Utah announced that they'd be playing in the bowl game. How big was that to get those two guys back in for that game?
Huge. Ray's a guy that obviously has been extremely successful this year for us. Dynamic with the ball in his hands. When you score 20 touchdowns and lead the SEC in total touchdowns, that's a special feat. And I've been really pleased with him making that decision to come when he doesn't really have to. It's the right decision for the kid that he is. It doesn't surprise me, being the teammate that he is, being the kid that he is. It doesn't surprise us at all, and it gets you another playmaker to get the ball in his hands and go win this football game.
Man, going back to Marques, getting him and Eli back for their 6 and 7 years, I think. Just how big is that on top of the other players who are expected to get back to starting the guards that started this year?
It's huge. I mean, when you get Eli and Marques, two guys that have played a lot of football, and they're really good friends. They're very close together. And so when you get two guys that are on the same page about the program, about what you're trying to do within the system, understand the calls, that's huge to be able to get that in. When you do bring other people in, they understand what the standard is. They can help us as coaches continue to communicate the standard and what we're trying to hunt up from an offensive standpoint. So really pleased with those guys making that decision and come back.
I know you can't talk specifics until Wednesday and all that, but do you in general like the direction your quarterback room is going and moving forward?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've obviously had some success with some of the portal things, and liking the guys that are coming in and being able to give us just some fresh dudes to work with. I mean, sometimes you get big dudes that you can come in that can throw the football, that are smart. Ultimately, that's fun to work with. So definitely like where things are headed, and we need to really work on the development piece. Now that we've got some guys coming in with some years that we can work with, I think that's huge, that we can truly work on developing that position.
Devin talked to us Friday about he thought it was cool to see Deuce and Shane kind of have an expanded role during this bowl prep. Is it part of it? I mean, they're probably not going to play the game unless something happens, but cool to see those guys rewarded a little bit at the end of the year, getting some more extra practice time just because of where you're at numbers-wise.
For sure. I mean, specifically for Deuce, been really, he's a guy that's made a huge impact on me personally as a coach, player relationship. I love Deuce Hogan. He's a fantastic kid. He does everything you want in the program right. He's just a tremendous human being. And so when you're able to see somebody come in, have an expanded role, get more reps in practice, his leadership skills are able to come to light a little bit, and kids feed off that. Everybody feeds off that. So been really pleased to be able to see Deuce be able to get some more reps.
If you get a chance for some of those snaps for Wilcox, we haven't seen him in a long time, maybe back this summer. What kind of style, what could we expect to see from him in the run?
He's fast. He's shifty. He's fast. He can stick his foot in the ground and go. Needs to continue to work on getting stronger and put some more weight on and go home and eat for the holidays a little bit. So he can stick his foot in the ground and run. He can definitely he gives you a burst that is exciting to see. He can really stick his foot, like I said, and obviously we haven't seen him live a whole ton. and he's been kind of on and off the scout team and with us some. So I haven't seen him probably a ton, but he definitely can run. He can roll, and hopefully can run hard for us as well.
What's the energy like at practice and around the building going into this game? Is any different than it's been?
I think similar in a lot of ways. I mean, people are obviously, the practices aren't quite as long, right? And so we're kind of in and out of the practice field a little bit faster, so the juice is a little bit better, and just a little bit more energy as you just bop around a little bit. And especially some of those earlier practices where you're going against the defense, it wasn't truly Clemson prep, and you feel the competitive juices going again a little bit. That's been exciting, and the guys, been around. They've liked to be around. We go and do some things as a team last night, which was fun, and it's been great. The kids have been excited, and hopefully we can continue to build that as we go into this mini break that we have, go down to Florida and have a good time.
You kind of alluded to it earlier, talking about the quarterback position. Obviously, wide receiver is a big thing. People are, waiting to hear. How's maybe that kind of been, even without a coach officially named as of yet?
Yeah, I think we've done a pretty good job, without a coach being named. We've gotten some quality players on campus. We've been able to retain some kids that we were excited about as well, trying to build their futures and their development. So, it obviously helps when you do get a coach in place, and we'll get that done hopefully sooner than later, and be excited about that as well. So I think we've done a nice job addressing a few needs that we wanted to try to get out there and address, and continue to now to develop the room throughout the spring. This will be a huge winter and spring for that room, with a new coach to be able to be developed both physically, mentally, and all those things. So we're excited about the direction of that room.
And then what type of characteristics are you looking in for the new receiver coach?
Communicator, somebody that can truly, relate to those guys in a way, both on and off the field. Somebody that's played the position is always very helpful to where the players, believe in what you're saying because you've done it. You can still demonstrate because you're young enough and athletic enough to do some of those things. And then obviously the discipline part, being able to really get the room structured the way that we want it to be, get those guys all on the same page, everybody being accountable to both on and off the field, academically, socially, and in the football building. I think that'll be really important.
First off, shout out to the O-line. Got to get that out the way. Shout out God and the O-line.
Marques, when you transferred, I think we all expected it was like a one-and-done thing. What went into the decision to come back next year?
Just a lot more development I could do within 1 year. Coming here for this 1 year, I saw a lot of development I could do or accomplish. There's so much more on the table for me to get better and get more flexible and get more stronger, so I decided to come back.
How much, your cousin Eli, he announced too, how much is it that bringing a bunch of guys back kind of factored into that decision?
It's huge. With Eli coming back, it kind of made my decision a little bit easier. He's a smart center, he's a smart player, so being able to play with that person and being around him for another year is amazing.
As you've had a moment to kind of sit back and evaluate the regular season, how do you just think this went for the offensive line, and how excited are you about the potential for that group?
We definitely improved from previous years or the previous year, but still some more to be had, some more detail, some more technique, just a little bit more we could gain in the O-line room as a group. And throughout this year, we saw moments, and this next game and next year, trying to put all of them together to be a more dominant O-line.
How much stock do you put into the bowl game as a kind of a stepping stone to a big year in 2024?
Say it one more time.
How much do you put into this bowl game as like kind of a jumping off point to build momentum going into next year?
I try to treat it like the same as all the games this year. With that, like just another game, like as part of the regular season. I try not to worry about next year till next year happens. But putting all the pieces together, this game can help us project to a great year next year.
This is a pretty big name, though, Clemson. So
yeah.
When you all prepare for them, what do you see from the Clemson D-line?
They're big, athletic. They can move. a little bit everywhere with slants and stunts, and they got really good players. Still trying to figure out who's opting out or who's not, but they're a really good front, really young front. Well, one of the D tackles are young, but they are really good players, and we just got to hold into our details and hold into what we got to do, and we'll make out this game with a W.
How much are you just looking forward to having the bowl experience down in Florida?
This is my third time in my about to be 7 years down in Florida. So like I've been in Florida with bowl game. I haven't won a bowl game yet in my college career, so I'm trying to get my first one this year.
Marques, bowl practices are a big time for younger guys to get some more reps. How will those tackles that we haven't seen behind you guys, how will they kind of develop over the course of the game?
Mal has improved night and day, Malachi Woods. I work with him at least a couple times a week, or me and him just go in and talk about a little bit of techniques and stuff and like that. He's improving well beyond his measures, and there's still so much he can improve on, but he's really doing a great job. I'm really proud of him for being 1 year in the college.
Have you had to instill some meanness in him because he's such a kind of a passive, nice guy that we saw in high school?
Yeah.
How has he changed?
I feel like I didn't know him in high school, but I love him to death. He's starting to get that mean streak. We gotta still get his technique. Once his technique get down, and then he could add the meanness and aggressiveness to him afterwards, then the world is his oyster.
Ray Davis and Juton announced they're playing in the bowl game. How big is that, just having those two guys out there during that game?
It's amazing. Me and Ray are locker neighbors. Me and Ray came in together, so we became somewhat best friends within this year. So I was really happy to have another opportunity to play with him one more time.
Go ahead. We've got time for one more.
Yeah, so having the opportunity to play with them one more time and having these practices with them one last time. No telling what both of our futures pertain, but it'll be a memorable moment for me. Try not to get emotional up here. Love my teammates, man. Any more questions?
How emotional is it though? Because last year we saw some of the guys, when they know it's the final game or it's their final whatever.
Yeah.
How emotional can it get?
It definitely could get emotional. There's a lot of emotions that could factor into it with the people that's coming and going, and then people last time playing college football, people that got aspirations to go play in the league. So it could be an emotional moment for a good amount of people.
Thank you, Marques.
I'm just an emotional person, but it's all right.
Well, me personally, it's a lot different considering last year I couldn't play in the bowl game. So I think I think I'm just ready to get out there and finish this season off strong.
You've played.
I'm sorry.
Well, you've played, some big teams in bowl games.
Yeah.
And there's been some other ones where maybe a less inspiring opponent. So is there added juice when you got a team like Clemson on the other side?
Yeah, I think that's why. First of all, everyone's playing in this game because Clemson's a big-time team, big-time name. So I think everyone's really looking forward to it and showing the difference in SEC and the ACC.
When last year, Will said he wasn't going to play, C-Rod said not going to play.
Yeah.
Now that's flipped this year. People are going to play. What's that do to the locker room?
Everyone's just really eager to play. I think what it does to the locker room, it just brings obviously everyone together, and it just creates more of a juice and more of a will to win. I think this is the most I've been excited for this bowl game, and I think everyone else has been too.
How you balance that, Brendan, with all the anticipation versus making sure you get out there and minute 1 of the game through minute 60, do everything the best you can?
Stoops does a good job in kind of balancing it, because obviously he wants to give us like a little bit of vacation, but also, make sure we're ready to play. He does a great job on not getting over anticipated and losing our responsibility or losing our minds. He does a really good job of keeping us prepared for the game, but also, not working us too much.
For a guy like Dingle who tries the portal out and says, I'm okay, I'm actually going to come back. What's that dynamic like for you guys in the locker room?
Nothing changed. Merrill obviously handled the whole thing well, and he was just super upfront about it in the room, same with Dingle. And I think the room as a whole, we just have a different brotherhood. And nothing changed completely. So when he left, we were like, cool, man, go do your thing. We love you and support you. And he came back. He was like, cool, man, like, awesome. Like, we love you and support you. So.
You bust him up a little bit more?
No, I didn't. I let Caddis handle that.
What about Isaiah? He's gone over to the team that wears red.
Yeah. That I'm going to be honest, I wasn't shocked about that because, I mean, he's obviously from there and he's a good player. So, since I'm leaving, I'm excited to see what, he does over there. But also, it's Louisville. It's the team that wears red. But, I'm excited to see what he does.
When people leave, when guys leave or they try it out, how many of those, even if it's not your position, are you surprised and say, ooh, didn't see that one coming?
I think it's always a surprise because, you play with somebody and you have, the team creates a certain bond with one another. So it's always a surprise when someone leaves because, they're not like telling you that during the season or anything. So especially when somebody plays, a significant amount of snaps and they leave or, somebody doesn't, it's always going to be a surprise. But we always wish the best for them. In their case, a lot of people come here and, they show what they can do and whatnot. So.
The portal's kind of
it's crazy.
Career right.
It's nuts.
Right in the middle. You've had experiences on both sides.
Yeah.
How it used to be and how it is now. What's that experience been?
I think now it's obviously crazier now than ever just because of NIL. So if you have a weak spot in the team, you can easily get that fixed in the portal now compared to back then. It was really just guys that weren't getting the opportunity. And now it's guys that are, a big-time player at some school, but they want to win games. So now they're, they go wherever. It's the craziest I've ever seen it.
What is it just going to feel like going out there in the bowl game? You've played a lot of college football, and that's going to be your last go-around.
Yeah, it honestly hasn't hit me yet, and I already know it's going to hit me as soon as we finish that game against Clemson. As we go into it, every week you kind of get into this routine, and then when that routine breaks, it's gonna hit me hard.
All right, thanks, Brendan. Thanks,
Yep.
guys.